Mares Novices hurdle for Thursday, day 3. This is a real good competitive day's race, and I think at Cheltenham. I think if you were an average race goer and you just wanted to go to a day at the meeting where potentially a few gambles might be landed, or you wanted to get a few, I guess, better value price favourites. I'm like, value is obviously like in the eye of the beholder, but maybe some like bigger price favourites, I suppose, going in. It's real competitive action on there. Gets kicked off this year with the Mares Novices hurdle. There's 2 horses right at the front of the market, vying for favouritism. 6.5 for Gavin Cromwell and Maureen, who's related to Forheen the Machine, named after Willie Mullins' mum, part of a racing syndicate that Willie Mullins has got touted for, or even the champion bumper last year, but touted for this race from a very long way out. Now, we've seen both of them over hurdles once. We've seen some of the others in the field over the hurdles multiple times. The market seems pretty headstrong that the winner comes from these 2, though. If you were to back the pair, it pays even money, doesn't it, if you get a 3-1 each of them? And I'll be honest with you, Will, I keep going back and forth and I can't really work out which one of them's the better one. And that makes me nervous because I feel like if I'm whittling out between a couple of them and I can't find the best, I wonder if the bar they're setting isn't high enough. But as much as it is the Cheltenham Festival, and I don't want to be rude to any of the horses, it is a grade 2 and it is Mares Novice as well. So maybe the bar that I'm looking for horses to set doesn't need to be as high as I'm trying to get it to be. I thought Maureen was okay on hurdles debut, got the job done, but I'm again reading into stuff that probably isn't there. But I definitely don't think she's done enough to warrant being the price she is, as much as the hype's pushed her into that sort of price. And I do wonder whether being, like I say, well-related and well-named and with a big syndicate, whether Willie's been a bit protective maybe of her. I know she's had a few issues as well, but if she'd have been exposed in a better race by now, she may have got beaten, which wouldn't have meant she couldn't come here and won the race. But I wonder whether he's minded a little bit with that in view to come into Cheltenham for his new syndicate, to have a favourite for Cheltenham with a good chance, and the bubble might burst here. I'm definitely being harsh because he's entitled to improve from it. And with normal trajectory, she should be able to surpass what 6.5 has done. But 6.5 is better than Maureen on what she's shown so far. Go back through some of her bumper form as well, even like back in the good old days when she beat Cole Cannon, that was well backed at the Dublin Race Festival bumper. She's got some actual depth in there. She's the type of horse I wonder if we were to look back in a few years' time, you'd be like, geez, we knew she was quite good. This was the start of something. So I feel like she's the one that potentially could turn into something really special. I don't see that absolute star quality from Maureen, for all that I do respect her and the master of Closutton. He used to win this race all the time, didn't he? It was just whatever Willie Mullins trained beginning with the letter L, but he hasn't won the last 5 renewals. I think 6.5 deserves to be shorter in the market than Maureen, but I don't think she deserves to be shorter than she is at the moment, if you know what I mean. I think Maureen should be a bit of a bigger price. But I'd probably, with all that said, I'd probably happily say that I'd bet the pair at even money against the field rather than try and find something to take them on, especially at this stage, because there's only 3 places up for grabs, non-runner money back. The ones in behind, I think, are all much of a muchness. So did you have I don't know, I don't want to say a more aggressive view, but did you have a stronger view in here of how to split those front 2 at least?
No, I didn't. I must admit. I think they've both got some real, solid qualities for this particular race that we've seen recently. That's a key thing with them. Obviously, Maureen only 1 start this season. Has that been because she's had issues, or is that because maybe she's just a late maturing 6-year-old that Willie Mullins wants to campaign patiently? And he's worked wonders with the likes of Quevega and various other horses, in a similar kind of ilk, really. So you'd expect her to be there or thereabouts, definitely. 6.5 was really good on hurdle debut, classy flat horse. Just the one worry with her is that she looks a stayer to me. Now, you generally need a staying type to win this. It's 2 miles, 1 furlong on the new course. So it's going to be a staying test, particularly for young mares. But she ran in Cesarowicz's and things over in Ireland. So, real proper stayer. I think she'll be better, or she'll be seen to best effect when she goes over 2.5 miles over hurdles. But her ability in her class will probably carry her through here. So, yeah. And beyond that, you're looking at Jubilee Alpha for Paul Nicholls, who's looked the best, I think, of the UK challengers. She was good at Taunton and then good at Windsor. Just a small bit of a worry in terms of how some of Paul Nicholls' horses are running at the minute. They might be fine in a couple of weeks' time, so might be overthinking that one. And if you like Jubilee Alpha, you've got to like 1 or 2 other horses that fit in with her, the likes of Holly Grove, Cha Cha, He won at Sandown quite nicely for Jamie Snowden. And also Emma Lavelle's Bluey. Don't know if this is the plan for her, but she's the type of horse that could run a decent race at a big price. I think she's qualified for some of the sort of EBF mares handicaps and things like that. So that's probably more likely her target. But I think she's, she'll probably be a horse that's overlooked in the market wherever she goes. But a bit more of a watching brief for this race at this stage. It'll all become clearer in 10 days to 12 days time or so.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's a race that I've been, like I said, it started off quite easy with just whatever Willie Mullins was sending there, and he had some proper recruits going in there as well, didn't he? Let's Dance, Limini and Lorena, but the quality hasn't been as good. But then in saying that, like Honeysuckle should have come here the year that Epitant got beat, and then you've got 2 Champion Hurdle winners that could have come in here, but neither of those won. You've got Brighter Days Ahead that got turned over last year, and obviously you can see what she's doing now. So it's not even necessarily that of like a case of finding the best horse in the race. It's a case of finding the best horse in the race for that day, isn't it? And those conditions.
With those Willie Mullins horses, they only proved themselves to be class horses in this event and further down the line. We didn't know that they were at that stage. There've been some big priced winners of the race. Eglantine de Soy, you can forget her. And there's still a couple of horses in the entries who haven't even made their debut for Willie Mullins yet, who are French recruits. So, who's to say? Yeah, real unknown quantities at this stage, but the 2 at the top look the solid ones.
Yeah, that's it. And it's, again, one of those in the staking order. This will be one lower down in terms of how much risk I'd want to get involved in it. Did get a little bit too much probably into Brighter Days Ahead last year, although I thought I was on to a winner. But that's where, like you say, with 6.5 being a staying type, and it can suit those types, it does really depend what happens on the day, because they just went a crawl last year and it turned into a sprint, and you can plan as much as you think this should happen on this course and in these conditions, and then on the day something else happens. So typically with, I'd say, championship races, and I don't want to be mean to this race, it sounds like I'm not picking on it, but in the Grade 1 races, the tempos and the styles that they're running, you can predict if it's going to be a bad year for that. Whereas sometimes in this instance, there maybe just isn't enough depth in there for them to be able to go the right sort of clip. Whereas in another year, there may have been more depth and they could have gone a different pace. So yeah, definitely waffling too much about the mares. Novice Hurdle. It's a good looking race. It's one of those. I want to find the winner of all of them, but I'll have to just accept defeat on this one. That I've got no conviction, and I think that will stay the way through to the declaration as well for me, I think.